My daughter's boyfriend taunted me to my face after beating her. I never thought I'd hear my daughter apologize for being abused. That was the moment I realized how badly he had broken her. Not the bruises, not the shaking hands, not the fake smiles at family dinners. It was when my 4-year-old daughter looked me in the eyes and said, "Dad, I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner." And all I could think was, what kind of monster makes someone feel guilty for being hurt? My daughter Bria was smart, independent, and strong. She graduated college with honors, got a good accounting job, and built a life any parent would be proud of. Then she met Knox. At first, he seemed perfect, polite, respectful, brought flowers, called my wife Pauline ma'am, and shook my hand like a gentleman. But some of the worst people know exactly how to wear a mask. The changes started slowly. Bria stopped coming to Sunday dinners. She stopped answering calls. She stopped laughing the way she used to. Then one afternoon, she showed up wearing long sleeves in the middle of July. When she reached for a glass of water, her sleeve slipped back for half a second, and I saw bruises around her arm shaped like fingerprints. I felt something inside me go cold. My wife Pauline stopped me from reacting immediately. She knew if we pushed too hard, Bria would pull away even more. So instead, we stayed patient. Pauline invited her over for coffee, lunch, small conversations, nothing forceful, just reminding her she always had a safe place with us. 3 weeks later, Bria finally broke down and told us everything. Knox had been abusing her for months. It started with grabbing and pushing, then turned into something darker. He controlled what she wore, checked her phone every night, locked her inside the apartment, and threatened to ruin her reputation if she ever left him. But the worst part was how he used us against her. He convinced my daughter that her own parents would be disappointed in her for staying with a man like him. That's when I realized this wasn't just physical abuse, it was psychological control. The next evening, I drove to Knox's apartment. He opened the door, smiling like nothing was wrong. I told him I knew exactly what he'd been doing to my daughter. He leaned against the doorway and smirked. "She bruises easily," he said. I told him Bria confessed everything. He shrugged and called her emotional. Then he looked me dead in the eyes and asked, "What are you going to do about it?" He wanted me angry. He wanted me to lose control. Instead, I smiled, turned around, and walked away. That was the moment he made the biggest mistake of his life. Men like Knox mistake patience for weakness. What he didn't understand was this: I don't explode, I build. The very next morning, while Knox was at work, my brother Vin and I emptied that apartment in under 2 hours. Every piece of furniture Bria paid for, every book, every bag, every dish, gone. By the time Knox got home, my daughter was safe under our roof. Then we started dismantling the rest of his life legally and carefully. My wife had already photographed every bruise with timestamps. We filed a police report, contacted the leasing office, and started the restraining order process. Every call, every message, every bruise became evidence. Slowly, the truth started catching up to him. Then we learned something chilling. Knox already had another abuse complaint from years earlier involving a different woman. Same behavior, same threats, same manipulation. He had done this before. He just picked the wrong daughter this time. Once the restraining order was granted, Knox started losing control. He called Bria's friends, claiming she was unstable. He called her workplace, pretending he was worried about her. Then he made the mistake that destroyed him completely. He violated the protective order by parking outside her office and sitting there watching the windows for almost 40 minutes. Security cameras captured everything. The police arrested him that same night. The court upgraded the temporary protection order into a permanent restraining order, and another woman finally came forward to testify about what Knox had done to her years earlier. Suddenly, the image he spent years building started collapsing all at once. In court, Knox looked completely different from the smug man who stood on his porch mocking me. No confidence, no smile, No arrogance, just fear. He accepted a plea deal that left him with probation, mandatory anger management classes, and a permanent criminal record that would follow him for the rest of his life. After the sentencing, Bria sat beside me in my truck and quietly said, "I thought you'd be disappointed in me. I had to pull over because hearing that nearly broke me." I looked at my daughter and told her, "You survived. You got out. That makes you brave, not disappointing." That was 6 months ago. Today, Bria has her own apartment again, a peaceful life, a spoiled cat named Birdie, and Sunday dinners with us every week. The silence in her life doesn't scare her anymore. Now it makes her feel safe. Sometimes I still think about that night on Knox's porch, the way he smiled and asked me, "What are you going to do about it?" He thought I was just another angry father who would yell and go home. What he didn't realize was that I was the kind of father who would calmly remove every pillar holding his life together one by one without ever raising my voice. And in the end, that's exactly what I did.